All right, shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all being in this episode of the show. Big ups to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Go to FanDuel for all your prop bets. Big Q in here representing the mighty Who Dat Nation on this one, man. We talking about Saints draft picks and potential draft picks, rather. Who are the Saints looking at? And they're looking at DBs. We got two of them for you. We're going to break them down on this episode of the show. But first, do me a service by hitting that like button. Also, if you're not a sub, hit the sub button or share the show with another diehard Who Dat as we press for 15 large on our YouTube fam. All right, anyway, coming into this one, shout out to Saints Wire. They covered the scoop that the Saints, the Saints NFL draft, Saints interview Texas cornerback Malik Muhammad. Now, we know that the New Orleans Saints need some help at the position. We know we have Kool-Aid McKinstry, Paulson Adebo is there. Excuse me, not Paulson, Quincy Riley. I said Paulson Adebo. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quincy Riley. We know that Marshawn Lattimore and Paulson Adebo were guys that we moved on from and changed our secondary a couple years ago. But nonetheless, we bring in guys like Kool-Aid, Quincy Riley over the last couple of years. And guess what? That got us, looking pretty good. But Alontae Taylor is now into he's hit the free agency market, signed up with the Tennessee Titans. He went back home. And the reality is the Saints want to keep this secondary young and vibrant. Perhaps we might find a talented player in this draft. We'll be looking at to try to find out, who fits well with that young and vibrant cornerback core. And we'll see what they got going on. But anyway, they feel like that they need to find somebody that can perhaps play the star role in this position for the Saints, which is very important. So there are a couple of things that happen right now as the Saints head into the 2026 NFL draft cycle. And they've already met with two of the top names from the cornerback position. They met with LSU standout Mansour Delane, hosting him for an official 30 visit, which indicates some real good interest. That they then met with the combine standout, which was Malik Muhammad. They had a formal interview with the NFL, at the NFL combine, with the Atlanta Falcons. He said he had that. He said he had a 2-day visit with the Cowboys. I've already met with the Commanders and the Panthers virtually. I'm scheduled to meet with the Panthers a second time. I met with the New Orleans Saints and Buffalo Bills. So those are off the top of my head, said Muhammad. So he's meeting with a lot of people that's interested in what he could do. With 3 of the 4 NFC South teams having met with him, it could make for an extremely fun race to see who lands Muhammad, who's highly touted. He posted 30 tackles, 2 picks, 4 deflections, 2.5 sacks, tackles for loss, and a sack last year. In coverage, he allowed just 21 catches on 35 targets for 168 and a touchdown, and had 3 penalties during that time. He has athleticism, which pops off the board, though, putting up against elite players, with the composite speed and explosion categories like Kent Lee's RED system indicates. Also notes that he played under current Saints defensive coordinator, passing game coordinator Terry Joseph back in 23 and 24. We saw the team was willing to make those connections by selecting Vernon Brockton, who was real raw. But Coach Bo Davis spoke well of him, and that's how we were able to land him a year ago. So getting a cornerback in the draft is a huge priority, since given the prices have gone down for free agency this spring. McKinstry, Riley, and another rookie all on skill deals would be a great benefit for the Saints. That's why they accrued all of these picks. Now, about Malik Muhammad, here's the player card for him. College, we talked about him being out of Texas, 6 feet, 180 plus pounds. You see right here with him, and his 40 time is actually really good for a 6 foot physical cornerback at 4.42. You can see right there on the broad jump. It's pretty good too. And this is what NFL's Lance Zierlein makes mention of the overview on Mr. Muhammad, that he has good coverage talent to offset his frame. He can man up from press or off, and is a plus pattern matcher, stays in phase, shadow points, He displays outstanding vision. He adheres to the zone coverage principles, allowing him to play with ideal efficiency on all three of the levels. He gets out muscled by bigger and stronger wideouts inside of his route and at the catch point, but he doesn't give in and usually holds his own. He does a nice job of chopping pass catchers down in space, but a lack of play strength shows up occasional with broken tackles. So Muhammad has a day two talent with starter level ability. So that's some of the overviews on Malik Muhammad, a physical cornerback out of the University of Texas. How about another one that the Saints are mating with? This time we go from cornerback to safety. The Saints are set to have a pre-draft visit with Penn State safety Zakee Wheatley. How about that? The Saints looking at him ahead of the 2026 draft. Penn State safety Zakee Wheatley, per Nick Farabaugh for PennLive.com, is seen as a top 5 safety in this particular class for the safeties here. So in this class, real strength is in run defense. He appeared in 58 games with the Nittany Lions. He logged in over 200 combined tackles, which 145 of those were solo. He had 6 picks, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 forced fumbles, and Wheatley also had 5 tackles for a loss and a sack. In our pre-free agency post combine, Mike, they identified Wheatley as a potential replacement for Alontae Taylor. Big safety, 6'3", 200 pounds, 31-inch arms, giving him natural size to compete with any receiver. He covered the slot on nearly 400 snaps at Penn State in his career while logging more than 2,100 total defensive snaps in the Big Ten. He joins the Saints list of pre-draft visits along with Mansour Delane from LSU, plus wide receivers Chris Bell from Louisville, that's Tyler Shuck's teammate, and Makai Lemon, the speedy undersized receiver out of USC. So these are some of the guys. Now, the star position is important to Coach Staley's secondary, and Taylor parlayed his experience in that role to a almost $60 million contract. Previous teams invest heavily in premium resource guys like Darwin James and Jalen Ramsey to hold it down. Besides covering slot receivers, when in the nickel personnel, the star cornerback is also asked to blitz quarterbacks and rely on making tackles in the open field. So PFF found that Wheatley only rushed to QB 21 times at Penn State, but he generated 6 pressures and batted a pass down on the line of scrimmage. Now, Wheatley could be in play when the Saints pick on the second day of the draft in round 2, maybe picks 42, or rounds 3, number 73 overall. The fifth-year safety has played a lot of snaps at corner and safety in the slot, and the experience matter. He could help the Saints right away if they call his name in the draft. So could this player be a guy that we're looking at in Zakee Wheatley? Now let's take a look at his player card right here. As you can see, 6'3", 200 pound. You get the prospect grade, will be eventually be an average starter. They look at his 40 time. He didn't do a 40 time at the combine. You can see his jump right there. And what they're saying, they give him a comp comparison of Cam Curl from the Rams. An overview is Wheatley, long athletic safety whose career arc shows steady development. He played with better decisiveness and route recognition from man and zone looks in 2025. Rangy with the ability to play over the top or close quickly to limit run after the catch. Physicality near the line is average, but he competes and stays in the fight. His tackle radius is wide, but he needs cleaner pursuit angles and better play strength to limit missed tackles. Wheatley still is improving and should check as a day 2 pick with the potential to develop into a solid starter. So there you go. Zakee Wheatley is one of the players that the black and gold are looking at to bring in to possibly do something at the star level to replace this man. So it is very interesting, nonetheless, as the Saints stay on the move and look to try to do better right in this position. So as it stands currently, the confirmed 2026 prospect interviews, the top 30 visits as they're called right now, to recap, Mansour Delane Delane was a guy that they met with. Malik Muhammad, we talked about that. Makai Lemon, the wide receiver. Chris Bell, we talked about that. Zakee Wheatley from Penn State, we covered that. Denzel Boston, the wide receiver, is also scheduled for a pre-draft visit Oscar Delp, the tight end from the University of Georgia, is was hosted by Saints for a private dinner prior to his pro day. So there are a number of people here the Saints will be looking at in terms of their top 30 visits going into the draft late in April. So this is just some of these guys. So with that being said, man, the Saints are definitely valuing. They're definitely valuing the star position in the defense, and that's the great thing about it is they need to really fill that position. Do they have that player currently on the team? We see rumorville about possibly Jordan Howden getting opportunity there. I think not. We'll see how it all puts together. It might be an idea, a fallback idea. But the reality is the Saints really need to solve that aspect of them finding a player for that particular aspect of the defense. And there's several options in the draft. And it depends on who falls to them in the first round or in a couple of rounds, because there are many different ways the Saints can go depending on how their board is constructed. But obviously, Caleb Downs is the better of the choice, right? In terms of the star player, having him there, it would be plug and play in my estimation. He'll step in and have an Antoine Winfield Jr. type of effect that he has with Tampa Bay with the Saints. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. The Saints will do their due diligence, but at the end of the day, what they'll end up doing is making moves in the draft to try to appease that error, or that missing person, or that spot that needs to be filled by a playmaker on that defense, among other things as well. Depth on the offensive line, perhaps some more help in terms of the edge, maybe some cornerback. Some people mentioned cornerback and safety could be something we're looking at as well. And the Saints have 8 picks to deal with that in the draft. They might make some trades later on for a particular player, but they'll look to fill in a lot of this with the 8 picks that they got in the draft. They have 5 picks in the first 4 rounds. They're going to get some talent in this upcoming draft. You just watch. All right, that's all I got for y'all. Y'all hit the like button, the sub button, the notification bell, and above all, feel free to share this show. Shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. For all your prop bets, go to FanDuel. Much love to them and us as well. You can help out the platform by joining as a member, or simply go to patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and join the channel. So with that being said, man, listen, we're going to keep these reports rolling, and I'm going to holler at you with the next one. Much love, peace, and win. Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thehootitdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the WhoDatDaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.